am Pinstar, and this is Dwarf Fortress Strategy and Tactics Quick Tip. So, Dwarf Fortress is a game that's been in development since 2002, and I played it way back in the day, but recently it has made its way to Steam with a premium version of it that has updated graphics, updated interface, and just kind of modernized while still keeping the beating heart of the game intact. Today, I'm going to show you a quick tip on your Embarks to sort of give yourself a little bit of a kickstart while maximizing the value you get out of your Embark points. We are going to prepare for our journey carefully. Now, on the prepare carefully, they like to set you up with a bunch of different versions of drinks, a bunch of foods here, and that's all well and good, but these are a little on the more expensive side, and we can get more value out of it. You do need to have a good starting supply of drinks and food, but what if we made them on site and gained some other benefits along the way? Allow me to explain. So the reason why I call this the cheese and wine gambit is, well, let's start with the cheese. One of the things that you can start out with is, if we type in here, milk. We want to go down to the extracts category. Depending on which civilization you're embarking with, you will have a number of different types of milk available to you. Ideally, the more variety you have here, the better. What you want to do here is you want to embark with 5 units of each. Exactly 5 units. Okay, so with that selected, you'll notice that each unit of milk is only 1 point. Each unit of milk can be turned into a block of cheese. If we look at what cheese itself costs us, cheese is 10 points apiece. Now, cheese has the same nutritional content, or at least counts as much food as your traditional meat, but your traditional meat and whatnot is 2 points apiece, or sometimes even more if you're looking at plump helmets, which are 4 points apiece. On a food-for-food basis, milk that will be turned into cheese is more economical. Not to mention, and this is the reason why we are embarking with all these different types of milk, is that each thing of milk that you get comes with a free barrel to hold it, because milk can't just exist on its own. It has to come with a barrel. So you get a barrel for free with each different category of milk, and barrels are normally 10 points apiece. So you're getting a lot of freebies in that sense. And all you need is just a dwarf to turn that milk into cheese relatively quickly. You don't even need to use some of your skill points to turn them into a cheese maker. Yeah, it makes them do it a little bit faster, but because cheese does not have a quality rating to it, you don't need to worry about making masterwork blocks of cheese. So, let them skill up on their own. Save your skill points for something else. Which skill points are more useful will be another video. Now, in comes the wine side of the equation. We get all these, once we've processed all this cheese, we will get a bunch of free barrels. But to what end? What use are a bunch of empty barrels? Brewing. Brewing things requires you to have empty barrels, which once we've churned through all our milk, we can be turned into wine barrels. But the default thing that you would get that you can brew right off the bat, plump helmets here, are 4 points apiece. Yes, it makes plump helmet wine, and that's all well and good. But what if I told you there's something better that's not only cheaper than plump helmets, but also gives you a side benefit to help kickstart your farming? You want to go down to not plants, because plants just has the plump helmets, garden vegetables. And you'll have a number of different things available to you. My personal favorite, even though multiples of these can be valid things, I like raspberries. So we're going to buy raspberries, and we're going to buy a crap ton of them. I like to buy 50 raspberries. Now, they're only 2 points apiece, but you can still brew with them and turn them into alcohol. And that alcohol is just as good as, say, the plump helmet wine. This allows you to actually get rid of the starting alcohol. I would keep one of each category, if only to get the free barrel, because alcohol has to be stored in a barrel too. So you might as well bring one of each to get the free barrels out of them too. There is one little trick to making garden vegetable berries work for you when it comes to brewing. This is due to a long-standing bug in the game that normally wouldn't let you brew with them, but I can show you how to get around them. Let us embark. So phase 1, we need to process our cheese. Go to Structures, Workshops, Farming, Farmer's Workshop, and place that somewhere on the surface. So once you've got some materials to build workshops out of here, in this case I'm just chopping down some trees here, we want to build ourselves a workshop. Workshops, farming, farmer. Because we need to start out by building our cheese processing. Choose our object, let them construct it. There we go. And now add new task, make cheese, repeat. You don't need to choose each type. They will grab the milk and turn it into cheese as needed. Now, a good way to keep your stuff organized here is right next to it. Make a stockpile, 2 tiles wide, and we want to only hold cheese for the time being. All of this can be moved down further into the fort once you've dug out, but this little gambit depends on getting this turned around quickly, and the stuff will be safe enough unless you're, embarking on a hellish biome. This is not recommended if the biome surface is immediately hostile. That's a more advanced embark strategy. That'll be a future video. So go down here to food and cheese and allow all forms of cheese. And also click on the barrel icon and make sure that max barrels is 2, because we do want some of our extra barrels to store some of this cheese. So now we have our cheesemonger here, and what he's going to do is he takes some of the milk, give it a few ticks here, and turns it into cheese. Now the reason why we embarked with 5 units of each type of cheese is that each process can go in a batch of 5. So bringing over all of the milk for one of the types of milk will give us 5 units of cheese for one process here. This is a stack of 5, yeah. So in one process you can turn up to 5 units of milk into 5 units of cheese. So now we have an empty barrel. That's one of the nice things. Now the first couple of empty barrels here, we're going to want to get brought over here to the stockpile and actually hold into the cheese. But one barrel can hold a ton of cheese, including multiple types of cheese. Unlike when it was milk, it does not all have to be the same type of thing inside that. Obviously you're going to want to be doing other stuff with your fort here. See, all right, now someone has got one of the empty barrels and has stuffed the cheese in it. So between 2 barrels, you'll be able to hold all the cheese that you're going to make. But now we have some empty barrels. We have a couple more steps to do. First, we need to build ourselves a workshop, farming, still, and we can build this nearby. The other thing we need to do, and this involves the bug that we encountered that prevents our dwarves from using those raspberries that we embarked with for brewing. What we want to do is click on your wagon and locate your raspberries here. The raspberries bag, rather. They all get stored in a bag. Click the magnifying glass and you'll see all of your different stacks of raspberries. You want to, and this sounds weird, designate them all for the garbage pile. Obviously, we are not actually going to be throwing them away, but for the moment, this sort of gets around the bug. We don't want to designate the bag that they're in as the garbage pile, just the raspberries within. We then click on our zones, click garbage dump. Anywhere on the ground, make a 1-tile garbage dump, except. Now we click on stockpiles, same tile, and we designate it for refuse. So while this one gets built, our dwarves are going to grab the raspberries. One more thing that we need to tweak is go to the labor menu, go to labor, standing orders, refuse and dumping. Click workers ignore outdoor refuse to workers gather outdoor refuse. Because those raspberries are technically outdoors, we need to tell them, at least for temporarily, to not ignore them. Now our workers are going to basically pour out all of the raspberries from that bag into this square. Let them keep doing that until the raspberry bag is empty. Now we just take away the garbage dump because we don't actually want to throw everything away here. We undesignate that. We click on the garbage zone, remove, and now you're left with all these raspberries here with a lock symbol on them. You click on the designate items, claim a forbidden item, and click on there. That gets rid of the lock. Now these raspberries are not only unforbidden, but they're now brewable. So we go to our still, add new task, brew drink from fruit, repeat. And now our brewer is going to come and grab 5 raspberries and one of the empty barrels from our cheese-making operation and do their thing. Now we get a couple of really useful things. We get a raspberry wine barrel, 25 units of raspberry wine. So 5 units of raspberries turn into 25 units of booze. That's 25 drinks that our dwarves can use to quench their thirst. Not only that, we have 5 units of raspberry seeds. So guess what? The reason why I went with raspberries is that raspberries will grow in pretty much any non-hostile biome. So like deserts and ice sheets, obviously they're not going to grow in, but anything that anything grows in can handle raspberry seeds, and they grow all year round. So we're going to go to workshops, farming, farm plot. I like to do like a 5x5 or almost a 5x5, 4x6, something of this size. Give one of your dwarves a minute to get that going. And now we tell it spring, summer, autumn, and winter, grow raspberry bushes, please. So all of these raspberries, when you brew them, we get more seeds out of them. So those seeds will go into there, and then give it a little time. Guess what? More raspberries. More booze. You may need to make more barrels if you haven't cleaned out all your other barrels. And in the meantime, we're still churning through all this cheese. So we are starting out with a lot more food and a lot more drink than our points would have dictated. And it's a lot cheaper than it would have if we had taken the cost to just flatly buy ready-made foods. And that frees up more materials for other things that you might want to embark with. What other things might you want to embark with? Well, that'll be another video. So if you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar, signing out. See ya!